Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Hamda.
I'm seeing the Raiders strike affecting shows. Cobra Kai has shut down its Raiders. People write that. Okay. Yeah, really? People write that? All right. Well, good luck, everybody. We have
Maybe they're saying they write choreography.
I mean, what the fuck? No, I see the show. I think literally nothing's written. If it's all deep fake, I would believe it. Today's guest is new to the Keith and the Girl universe. His albums are fantastic. Force of Nurture.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also check out Biscuits and Gravity. That's on YouTube.
That's huge. You got both the puns and didn't make them into the actual phrases they're based on.
I don't know if you get impressed easily, but before the show, I go, let me just make sure. Talking to Jason Salmon, and I go, just let me make sure I pronounce that right. And you were very impressed for a 2-syllable name.
I am. You would be. I mean, I don't think you would be shocked. You've been in the comedy world long enough. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. People just stop reading after 2 letters, mostly.
Right. And you get Salmon, I guess. And then you get the clever one, Salmon.
Salmon. Yeah. Which, by the way, if somebody pronounces it salmon, I might not correct them because I know they're spelling it correctly and we live in a digital world. So that's way more important, technically.
In Force of Nurture, does he pronounce your name wrong?
He does. He does. And I had the choice because he said Solomon. That's that's also very astute. You and my mother are the only two who noticed that. But he's a good friend of mine, Joe Larson, introduced me.
Well, Joe Larson, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've called him all sorts of stuff.
My good friend, Kemda Kahali.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Did he know right away?
He did not. No, we had never cleared it. He had probably always called me that. And in stand-up, somebody introduces you and they mispronounce your name, which you're like, oh, I should tell them. But then you have 15 minutes to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I forget always. I almost never bring it up.
You know, I go to support meetings and now
because they pronounce your name so wrong.
I'm trying to spread the word no matter what. But during the pandemic, we had to go to Zoom, and now the names are in the little thing that we're looking at on it,
box,
right?
Yeah.
So of course I might say, "Hi, Salmon." You know, I might do that, and so in support groups, you have to be friendly, and there's no reason to correct someone because you're just living your own life and you're keeping the focus on yourself and shit like that, right? So, but you can do things like, Kemda, would you like to speak next? And it's like, hi, I'm Kemda, grateful to be here. Anyway.
Exactly. I have always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I should have an opening joke about my name so that someone who mispronounced it can just hear that. Very passive aggressive. It's my people. We're a very passive aggressive people.
Anybody
Texans,
who,
right?
Well,
Texans,
anybody who doesn't understand, why is it important to them that they have transgender pronouns? It's like, because you do the same trick. It's that in reverse.
Right.
Thank you. And Kemda here for sure. And we will now, because it's your name and it feels like it means something.
It does. Feels nice. Feels nice. Yeah. When he mispronounced my name, I had a choice because he added that middle syllable and we could have edited that out.
Yeah,
but I felt like that was a better testament to the state of comedy is to have this thing that you worked a decade to put together and have someone mispronounce your name leading into it. That felt so much more real to me.
Right.
That's when you know you're a comic. It's like a real thing that you spent time and money on. It's like, isn't it funny when it goes wrong? Yes, comedy. Yes, it is.
That's part of the reason I chose a little twist at the end of this other comedy show that I did, the Biscuits and Gravity.
Should I say the ending? It was fun.
Got a little twist at the end.
A little twist at the end, but I still think it was based on how I hear people murmur and say weird things at weird times. I still think it was real. You know,
that's fair. That's
what I think.
You know what? It is. It's.
Let's see here. Here's some quick emails. We'll get into his life story. This says 2016 Trump bus tape. How timely. I came across you guys dissecting the Access Hollywood bus tape. Finally heard the whole tape thanks to you. And I never even knew about the walk after with that creep Billy Bush. Awesome. Keep it up, Mara. And I do a little search here under Keith and the Girl. Type in Billy Bush. And there it is, 2955. They're referring to Billy Bush returns with Marie Faustin. If you haven't seen this whole Access Hollywood tape, and how could you? They only play like 3 to 5 seconds at a time. I think this is a very, very fun show to listen to. So that tape came back to finally hunt Trump because it seems like nothing's gonna get him, right? So
I mean, didn't pussy hats come from
yes,
this
grab him by the
tape?
pussy, yeah.
I mean, this is thousands of people knitting thousands of hats and grandmas saying the word pussy because it's time to take some power, any power, please, back.
Right.
And so, yeah, this is the pussy hat. It started there.
Yeah. And Billy Bush is such a fucking creep in it. But anyway, it came back up because it finally went to court. The woman that's suing Trump saying, I was raped by you in a store. And I'm not even suing Trump. I just need the world to know that did happen. And he said, she's not my type. She's lying. Never met her. And she said, now we have a fucking lawsuit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to prove the rape, but I'm going to prove something because I'm not making it up. And she just won $5 million.
Yep.
Wow.
They use that into his entire everything he does. They used against him, and because his entire argument was counter to everything that's now on tape.
Wow. Somebody put tapes together and it mattered.
No,
Right.
That's what happens. Daily Show goes off the air, and then somebody has to fill that vacuum.
So he doesn't show up to the actual court case, but they show video of when they sit you down at the desk,
Mhm.
of the deposition, and so they show that tape, and they say, now, Mr. Trump, is it true that you can just grab women by the pussy? Like, just say it's. I was talking big. That was he can't help. And how you get Trump case by case now is make him admit he ordered the code red, and he easily will.
Yeah, make him depose him.
Yeah, the lawyer says only say yes or no. Okay, so was this you? Do you believe that the celebrities can just grab people by the pussy? No, but and you feel the lawyer kicking him under the table. He's like, but it has happened for millions of years that celebrities, for better or worse, are able to grab women like that. Yes. And
fortunately or unfortunately.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
No, he said unfortunately first, which is even worse.
Right.
He goes unfortunately or fortunately.
There's good people on both sides. Raider E. Jean Carroll was awarded $5 million by a Manhattan jury that found former President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing her and defaming her when she came forward. What's weird about it is that I don't study this so much that I understand the nuance of he has to pay $2 million for being liable about sexually abusing her. Then for saying it never happened, it's a hoax. That's somehow $3 million. But the actual rape, not liable.
We don't have tape of that.
What's the thin line?
I think it's a legal definition. I think what it is that there's.
I have to believe there's definitely full dick and fucking.
Yeah, almost like they couldn't prove penetration. So by virtue of that, the sexual abuse part they could.
See, they should have asked him about not being able to penetrate or not penetrating. He said, I penetrate everything. I penetrate everything.
When the jury did not conclude that Carroll had proven her rape claim, it did find that Trump was responsible for the lesser degree of sexual abuse in the Fifth Avenue Bergdorf Goodman department store. Jurors were shown the infamous 2005 Access Hollywood tape of Trump and a video of his deposition by Carroll's lawyers. The former commander-in-chief did not attend any part of the trial, nor did his attorneys present any evidence. He did tweet on his Truth Social network, I have absolutely no idea who this woman is. This verdict is a disgrace, a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. And by the way, during the deposition, at one point, because at the time he's related in a way with Marla Maples. Do you know this one? Nope, her. Never met her in my life. Okay, can you look again? Nope, it's Marla Maples. Wow, oh her. You're pointing at her. Then her, I know. I thought you could understand. It seemed like a trick at first.
But it's probably best that he does do stupid shit like that because it's like, I don't know anyone. Oh my God. Oh, now I recognize her. Like that kind of thing could.
I'm glad you brought pictures up to my attention. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I do know where it seems. As a reporter asked if it would derail Trump's, a reporter asked if it would derail Trump's run for 2024 election. The lawyer said, no.
It'll derail it.
Nope.
No.
A statement from Trump's campaign. Make no mistake, this entire bogus case is a political endeavor targeting President Trump because he is now an overwhelming front runner to be once again elected president of the United States.
I do believe that. I do believe that. And I do believe that this case that he had to pay $5 million to some bitch, which is how that side I believe is seeing it. They will double down. And if he asked, they would raise the money within 24 hours to pay her.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's a shoe-in for the GOP nomination. I think in a general election, this kills him.
I don't know. Why are people so at ease about this?
I'm not at ease.
He didn't sound at ease. I don't know if that's the accent. He did not sound at ease.
Don't get me wrong.
Okay, because I think he has a chance.
But my thing is I talked to a bunch of people who span the spectrum of politics, especially back home, and they don't like him.
They used to like him.
They did. They liked him when they thought Hillary was evil, but they've seen enough of him to go, well, this is also not the right answer.
And they say this out loud.
Out loud. It does help that I ask them because I don't have a problem asking them.
Interesting. Were they rah-rah before? Before, were you asking them?
They were more quiet before, but they're very actively out loud. No, not him.
Okay, I still wouldn't sleep on it. Everyone listening.
I'm not sleeping on it. Believe
Nobody
me.
sleep.
You know me. I say vote. In America, you get off work. What is the fucking problem? The longer the line, the better.
But they make it in Texas. That's the thing about Texas. It's a low turnout state because they make it really hard. You don't get off work. You don't. They've got a county of like almost 5 million people around Houston, and there's like 2 voting locations. Like it's insane.
It's not a law that you can take off like however many hours it takes.
No. Especially not in a state that wants to curtail voting.
Sure.
They're trying to pass legislation right now in Texas that would allow the attorney general, who's been under indictment and had his entire staff quit over 2 successive elections, which he still got elected.
Gotcha.
He's the attorney general who sued Pennsylvania for voting for Biden, saying that their votes were fraud. He sued like 4 states claiming their votes were fraudulent. But they're pushing through legislation right now saying that he can determine that something fraudulent was going on in Harris County, only the county, because they say any county with more than 2.5 million people. That's the only county in Texas with that many people. In that county, he can negate the election results if he deems there to be fraudulent activity, not if there's proven fraudulent activity.
I'm so happy to be here.
It's insane.
My citizenship means a lot to me, so I appreciate you all.
By the way, here's a picture of the woman that the blonde is the woman that Trump never met. Trump is the other blonde right next to her.
Oh, that's nice.
Looking into each other's eyes, laughing.
And when he saw her picture, he thought she was Marla.
Oh, right. That's what it was, right?
My
God. Yeah. They point, he goes, oh, that's Marla. And they go, who are you pointing to? And he goes, this one, that's Marla. And they go, no, that's E. Jean Carroll, who's not your type.
In a later statement through her attorney, right. Carroll said that he had filed suit against Trump, quote, to clear my name and get my life back. Today, the world finally knows the truth. This victory is not just for me, but for every woman who has ever suffered because she was not believed. I like this attitude because I think hopefully she knows that, yeah, we know you were raped. You know, not like, yeah, did he lie? Yeah, but lie about what? Well, that's too much. I like that she seems to know, like, okay, at least we know. In her 2022 lawsuit, accused Trump of raping her in a fitting room in the department store, likely in 1996. The jury had 3 women, 6 men. That's my guess why the rape charge wasn't taken. But we know something happened that was sexual abuse. That's my guess.
I think, well, we have a beyond the shadow of a doubt rule. It's very difficult to prove rape.
If it's beyond this, if it's been beyond the shadow of a doubt, then did he lie about not raping her? They said yes. What's the shadow of the doubt then?
I don't know.
In fairness, she was, when she contacted her friend, which is part of the reason this went through so quickly, because she had contacted at least two friends immediately after it happened. And one of her friends said to her, they're like, you were raped. She didn't even realize the gravity of what happened. Upset. I didn't want to use gravity, but I have to promote my album.
Sure. It's subconscious. It's a living.
I mean, it's
Carroll
she didn't even realize.
Yeah, Carroll took the witness stand for 3 days, recounting how she ran into the real estate mogul at the high-end store across from Trump Tower. She said Trump led her into an open fitting room where he pinned her against the wall, bumped her head twice. What does that mean?
Bumped her head twice?
During which she called a fight. Two friends in which Carroll said she confided after the alleged assault also testified in the collaboration claims. At least do that if you can, women. And, sorry to put the rules on you. At least do that. Tell a friend in private that you can trust in case later something happens. I know it's a shame. I'm the worst, but at least tell somebody.
Well, the things that she did very smartly were tell multiple people. One of them was like, tell the cops. And the second friend she told her not to tell the cops because they knew how much power Trump had and that Trump would just go after her, which in retrospect, based on all of the things he's done to all of the contractors who he hasn't paid over the years, might have been the better choice. I don't think a world should exist where a woman should have to fear telling the cops, but unfortunately New York during that stretch of time was Trump's New York.
Right.
I also like every time I think, should I call the cops? I go, and I got to deal with the cops.
Yeah.
Not just for sexual stuff, for just like, then you have to like start proving your case. You are now part of an investigation. Right. Even if you're the victim, you have to do as much work as, I don't know, I guess the other one gets assuming to sit in jail.
That's assuming you have cops who are actively on your side.
Right. I was just saying the other day about one time I had a roommate that I was very young and I got scared of her. She was like on something one night and she was being pretty dangerous.
She's throwing shit and grabbing shit, let's say.
Yeah. And I didn't know what to do because even now I'm like, I don't know what she did. She didn't hit me, but it seemed like I needed to get out and I got out and I left in the middle of the night and like all this shit. And then I ended up, once I moved out of there, I called the cops. The cops came to my new apartment and I was like, look, I moved in. I didn't have a lease because at the time you're just like, there was a one main person. And if you had roommates, you just kind of go with the one person. Right. So I just knew this was another roommate of mine and they go, okay, we'll go get her. And I'm like, I did not give you the address and I didn't give you even her first name. And they're like, yeah, but
can we do our jobs?
Yeah, they almost patted me on the head and said, goodbye.
Okay, you caught us. We're not going to get her.
So like, what? Yeah, I mean, they straight up said, okay, we'll let you know what we find. I'm like, oh my God, you can't even fake this.
Now that's a cop show during a writer strike right there. that is a writer.
Two other Trump accusers, Natasha Stoyanov and Jessica Leeds, good for you, were called by Carroll's legal team to tell jurors about incidents in which they alleged that Trump sexually assaulted them. And then to me, I didn't see this trial, but to me, that's important because obviously, like all these other things, there's a pattern. Somebody has a pattern. Carroll's side repeatedly brought up the Access Hollywood tape in which Trump was unwittingly recorded saying that he can grab people by the pussy and that they let him do it because he's a star. The woman complained that this was Trump saying how he treated women. I think the woman's a lawyer, but Trump claimed in his deposition that's just locker room talk. He's like, can I say that again? It seemed to work a couple of years ago. Is it locker room talk again? No, now it seems different because time went by. Locker room talk? I really don't understand how the fuck I get away with anything. So I'm really surprised when I can and when I can't. Oh, well. Representative George Santos. Now, this guy, it took me a while to even talk about him, but I did start the George Santos folder. Like this weird lie, that weird lie. And then I'm like, I don't know. Today seems like the breaking point. And then there's like this almost like, what's that place called next to Surf Reality?
Collective unconscious
is a collective consciousness of the whole world being like, I see it coming on, like the Tonight Show starts talking about it. SNL starts doing skits. I'm like, what is it? What was the final lie? Was it that his parents died in 9/11, but they were never there? Was it like, what's the one that made me go crazy? I don't know. But he lied about colleges. He lied about being a superstar volleyball player. He was on Yale and beat Harvard, but they never played each other. None of this ever happened. He certainly is anti-drag. Oops, he got caught doing drag. It's just weird. I worked for Goldman Sachs. Oh, it's weird. We called Goldman Sachs and they said, you don't. Like, oh, no, not in that capacity. Like, but what could he believe in that you believe in that? Oh, that's okay. And there's not another version of him that believes in the stuff you believe in that isn't a fucking weird liar.
I think the lie that got me was when they said, you're not Jewish. And he goes, well, I'm part Jew, so I'm Jewish. And I'm like, that's not your joke. You stole that joke. You know it's a joke, that's the line. Do not steal a joke. Whatever you do, that is not your joke.
So like for Jason, the line is it funny? You can mispronounce my name, but if it's funny, it goes in. Yeah. Also, Sadia is saying, what can he say? Right. And Avocado is saying, George Santos is who your dad would have been if he actually tried. That's for Keith Malley. And for those who don't know, keithandthegirl.com/dad, an entire saga, an entire book coming out. Well, really? Yes, this is not your regular daddy issues. This is next level.
This ain't your dad's emails, except it is.
It is super quick since we brought it. I have to. Keith catfished his dad because for a whole year. And his dad thought he was talking to Keith's ex-wife, who his dad reached out to saying, hey, what happened to your marriage? This is 2 years after the divorce. And he never asked Keith. They weren't in touch. It was out of nowhere. Keith used that email because he was.
And it happened to be on my birthday. So he's thinking about me, obviously.
Yeah. So the ex sends it to Keith and goes, what the fuck is you and your family? I thought I was rid of you. Anyway, for his birthday, she allowed him to use that email and he pretended to be her for a year. Father did stuff like, you make this old man libido's jingle. That's a quote. That's a quote. Okay. That's a quote when he thought he was talking to Keith's ex. He also said once Keith, after a year of catfishing, Keith goes, Dad, it's me. It's been me this whole time.
Oh gosh.
One of his answers was, Keith, what part of X can't you understand?
Right. What part of X don't you get? It's your ex. Then another part is, no, we actually did have conversations that I'm not privy to share with you. Like, oh, you fucking weirdo.
Oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
If he ever did, and he pretends he has all these different jobs. Well, apparently, Dad, you lazy asshole, it could have been done. You could have pretended hard. Yeah. You could have made an actual resume and just instead of telling your kids you were a black belt. Oh, well. Oh, well.
Have you commissioned someone to write a libido jingle?
I do wonder. Well, actually, I'm going to put those songs at /dad. So actually, it's funny you say that.
That's merch selling music right there.
I do have 2 songs that we can put up from the great B. Jason. So Representative Santos, I say representative like it's respectful. So Georgie, he's one of these people like Marjorie Taylor Greene that go on social media and like really like to poke. And the irony is right now, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like if Alec Baldwin started getting political right now. Like, okay, give the shooting a minute.
Probably going to happen, to be honest.
And that'll bother me, even if he's on the side of good. Representative Santos has been charged with, and this is all we know. Not sure what it means. People are guessing if you're watching the news right now. Representative Santos has been charged with 7 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, 1 count of theft of public funds, and 2 counts of making materially false statements to the House of Representatives.
There we go.
All these little lies are the last fun one, but also money and his campaign. There's some shit I don't know what's going on.
Do not mess with money. And do not mess with people in the House of Representatives.
Right.
Also, when you say Jewish, is that your mom's side? Because they don't accept the dad side. So you might.
I mean, whichever one would actually make him Jewish is not true. Clearly, I mean, we have to assume that that's.
I think some of these people think they can just talk shit because Trump got away with it. Trump has a level of white privilege that people don't know how to punish yet. And it's happening so slowly. Do not think George Santos, that a Trump is really pals with a Santos. You're not the same person. You have to watch what you say a little more.
Yeah. I never thought any of this would come to pass, and it did. So I'm like, all right, nothing shocks me.
Yeah, like this is a hoax. That is a hoax. This Russian and voting tampering. People are in prison for that. Yeah. How do you pretend that's a hoax?
They do.
You go. It's crazy. It's fucking. But they're there, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand reading only headlines, but those headlines said they are there in prison.
Where you went wrong was assuming reading. Because here's what happens is you're talking to people who work 12-hour jobs to make ends meet, and the only thing they hear is talk radio on their way to work and on their way home, and it is vitriolic. It is everything that you see, the worst versions of the things that you see on TV, 100 times worse.
But how doesn't it blow your mind when let's say you're one of these idiots? How doesn't it blow their mind that when they find out, they found out somehow?
Sometimes
maybe
they don't.
They passing. Let's say they pass. I'd like to think they do, and like they pass a Keith and the girl once in their life or something else. And it's like they do know there's people in prison, right? Now, do you deliberately shut that down? Like, oh, this is the bullshit. I'm not even gonna look into it. Do you look at a
I will tell you.
What do you do when Dominion voting, when Fox News says, we lied about the fraud, and then do you turn on Fox News again the next day? Like, what the fuck?
Well, Fox News didn't cover it. Fox News didn't cover it. Neither did talk radio. They don't. That's the thing is they legitimately have just shut out existence of a half of the planet. You know,
I guess you're right.
It's insane. And I will tell you right now, I lost so many friends on Facebook from 2016 to 2020. I had thousands of people who I'd gone to school with. I say thousands, maybe overshooting it. I had hundreds of people who I went to school with who unfriended me because I just said, that's not true. This is what actually happened. And people hated it to an absurd point of saying, I mean, just a version of, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
It's a form of, it's why people are so scared about transgender people, dudes, it seems to me. Yeah. And it's because they don't want to find out that retrospectively they fucked a dude. So they got to shut this down. That's what this is like. They can't retroactively look back and be like, oh, I was buddies with somebody that didn't devote themselves to Christ, or somebody who thinks gay people are people. I mean, that one, we can agree now. But blah, blah, blah.
I know. Well, that's the thing. It's unless they're forced to acknowledge it. And the weird thing is you almost have to have something happen in your family for that to force people to acknowledge it.
With your accent, do you feel like you represent the right wing sometimes with your friends? I
feel like I've got a Trojan horse into a conversation.
Okay.
That's nice.
And here's the thing is I know a lot of good-hearted people who just are ignorant. And I think one of the genius moves that Trump did, one of two, is one, he said that media is fake, don't listen to them, and a bunch of people stopped consuming any media that didn't support him. So that was from a marketing standpoint. From a gaslighting standpoint, it's like it's the equivalent of saying, quit talking to your friends. You're my girlfriend. Don't talk to your friends anymore.
He just bragged the other day that he got gaslight into the dictionary. Isn't that interesting? I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what Scientology does, doesn't it? They're like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, they keep you away from people who are going to be counterproductive influences on you.
Suppressors.
And the other thing that he did was that he created just this entire world where people just made stuff up and and he exhausted so many people to listening to the news that I talked to a bunch of people who just go, I just don't watch news anymore. And
so how do you Trojan in there? Like what's a way that you?
I try to come at it from a standpoint of kindness, of standpoint of understanding who they are. Because I honestly do believe that there's a lot of good people who just don't know how to consume information anymore, and purposely so, because somebody like Trump. When I moved up here from Texas, in Texas everything's moved slowly. It's a lot more like, oh, come over here, let me help you, let me do this. Here, there's still those people, but they don't speak that slowly. And there's a bunch of people who I've met up here, in part because I went into sales. I was living in New Jersey, and people who can make so much noise that they can confuse you into just going, okay, whatever you say. And people get so uncomfortable sometimes with the amount of noise coming at them that they're just like, I'm just going to go with the thing I feel. And once you can get people to do that, you just have to go, oh, children are in danger, so you should vote this way. The other side's evil, so you should vote this way.
That's how.
And that's legitimately the two biggest arguments for voting GOP right now. I mean, legitimately, if you break it down, the other side's evil, so you have no choice, or children are in danger, so you have no choice.
That's how customer service gets you to stay with the service that you're calling to cancel. They
Absolutely.
exhaust you, and then you just hang up. You're like, I guess I still have AT&T.
We had 4 years we had 4 years of an airline customer service president.
And then Trump goes, anything else I can do to continue making you happy? You
motherfucker! Will you stay after this phone call for a poll? No, I don't even want to. I don't even want to report you. That's how much I want to get off the phone.
Instead of will you hold for a survey or a poll, he's like, will you donate to my legal defense fund, which will not be used for legal fees.
Right. Turns out I did rape a person. We're going to need $20 minimum from every American. Does the accent? First of all, congratulations on being in Red Dead Redemption. That sounds so. Number two, that sounds so fun to me. I don't know if you have any pool though. Can you tell them I don't need to walk in real fucking time? It's a video game. Jesus Christ! Then they put me in snow sometimes. It's like, have you ever played it?
I haven't. I've been around people who played it, and they tell me these things, and I'm like, I don't have any pull with the actuality.
I like that those are these things because I didn't tell this to anybody. But motherfucker, one time, sometimes there's adventure, and you're on the train and with a horse, and you're doing a bank robbery, and then sometimes I gotta walk for a lesson or something. Make me shoot 20 rabbits, but speed it up. What's that?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jason.
Yeah, but congratulations. But the voices, mint.
How was it like?
I believe
what was
this
it like?
guy.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, they said, I remember my agent, she said, read this. And I went into her office. She goes, can you read this into the microphone in the most Texas accent you can do? And I go, I just did a one-time read. And they called me in because it was when they were developing the game, I think.
Okay.
And they called me in. I went in. I recorded a bunch of townsfolk stuff. I think like it was.
What does that sound like
for the original one? It was just like because you never see the script going in. They're very secretive about everything. You're wearing a helmet that's videotaping your face.
Oh, wow.
Videotaping. I don't think that's what it's called.
You know your age.
We call it dotting now.
Exactly. You have to rewind it or they won't consider you kind. I don't know if I should note that. But so they're videoing you the whole time and you're just seeing words coming up on screen and you're reading them real time. You're just sort of going in the middle of the scene there and they've got a thing in your ear and they're like, can you do that angrier? Can you do that meaner? Can you do that louder? Can you yell that? Can you whisper that? Whatever.
Okay.
You ever ask like what it is? I just got pushed to the ground. You know?
Yeah, like, I mean they do have sometimes you're and so after I did that they brought me in for the full thing. I think that it was like a test run when they were developing the game. So they brought me in for a full thing and they actually had graphics on the screen. So they're like, this is what's happening. So you're actually acting it out as it's happening, which was weird.
Right.
Here's some words on the screen. And if you could, read them in
I gotta go to the chat.
Texan, go ahead. Do you see them?
I love the gauntlet you're drinking out of. Is that it?
Yes. And what about this one?
We've always been at war with this East Asia.
Okay.
East Asia.
I'm gonna need that more angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry that you wrote East Asia as one word.
Okay, wait. One more. This is from the chat as we were talking.
I have to read this before I say it because in this voice, this could be used against me in a deposition. Those are not my words. Those are literally your words recorded on a podcast.
This is Chris L's words. This last one. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the monkey at the zoo is eating his own. You know what I'm going to say.
I like it. You can take nouns, turn them into adjectives, make it your own.
Yeah. Just make it nothing. No, there's no rules. It's very fluid. It's a very fluid dialect.
Wait, but now that Sadia knows that we're doing this is what she posted. Can you read that for me?
Ooh, daddy.
Yeah, that one's right. That one I can guarantee is put on.
Yeah,
you nailed. No pun. I got to talk about the mustache. You know that.
Okay, that's fair.
I had.
He was talking to me. Sorry, Jason.
I had one when. It's derogatory that we don't respect. It's derogatory if we don't assume everybody can have a mustache.
That's true.
So I had one at like I don't know what 16 to 18 maybe less, and probably a lot less. It was probably a fucking week. But anyway, I'm like, I'm gonna make a big new move and shave it.
Yeah.
And I did, and I cried a little bit. I'm like, I want it back because now I'm not used to this. Then obviously I didn't necessarily keep it. But what is?
Wait, in the same vein, by the way, my father tells this story that when we were young, he had a whole, what do you call that when it hangs all the way down here? No, just a mustache, but it's long.
I don't know what you can say.
Is that me? Are you allowed to say Fu Manchu?
Can you say it in your accent?
I tried to.
What's the one that goes all the way down?
Yeah, that's a handlebar mustache.
That's the vernacular term for it.
Okay. So he had one of those, very, he's hip or whatever. And he already has 3 kids. He shaved it. He comes down the stairs. My younger brother starts backing away from him and screaming.
Really?
He didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. You got to be careful with kids because your whole face looks so different and they don't know how to. He was so young.
I've had friends of mine shave their beard. They just this massive beard and they shave their beard and the kids just freak out. Yeah,
they need a minute. Yeah.
I've seen some rude.
You might want them to like watch you shaving. It's that traumatic so that they can see what's happening. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some rude kids. They're like, why'd you do that? It's like, you told me. I hate it. Well, Jesus. Kids are assholes.
That's how it works.
What made you, when did you grow it? And when did you say, hey, I know I'm being judged a certain way. Fuck them.
I actually grew it right after I started stand-up. It was weird. I had gone through a stretch because prior to stand-up and since stand-up, I've made a lot of money doing commercials. And I just hadn't gotten an audition in a long time. And I had always, every time, that I went a stretch without getting an audition, I would see how much facial hair I could grow. Because one of the first jokes I ever wrote, because I do not grow facial hair here at all. I grow it right down the center of my face. I can be any version of a douchebag you want. I can do mustache douchebag, soul patch douchebag, full goatee douchebag, but no beard at all. It's just out here. I'm 13 years old and graying, which is disturbing. But I just decided to grow as much facial hair as I could, and I grew enough of a goatee, and then we were filming a sketch video where I was going to play a ne'er-do-well dad for my sketch group that I was in, and I shaved the goatee part off and just had the mustache, and the way people looked at me when I just had the mustache, the difference in the way people processed me as I was talking to them was so fascinating to me.
It's an interesting choice, and I'm not sure why. And I think like I brought up just having one for a minute when I was half a kid is because, I remember like people going, oh, cool mustache. But looking back, it's like, but you don't have one. Looking back, it felt like I'm at somebody's anniversary party and they're like, married 50 years. And we're like, yay. And they're like, why aren't you married yet? We didn't say we want to be you. Yay. It looks good on you.
Yeah.
So it is a move. And looking back, you do get a different special look.
Yeah, it is. And to be fair, there was a time when I walked past a mirror with the mustache that I go, you know what? This is my real face. The one without the mustache, not my real face anymore. Right. It was my real face when I looked. I have a real baby face type look, like a young look, but an old face. Like I have crow's feet and, so it's like, it's just disturbing to see me without a mustache.
So, but how do people start looking at you? What was the difference? Like were they slower at you or faster?
No, it was just this weirdness. There were people who were like, why would you do that? They wouldn't articulate that, but like I saw people going, like they would stop. I wrote so many jokes at that point about the mustache. I had a joke about how I felt like suddenly I could understand how a woman would be. My eyes are up here. Because people would just lock into it. It was this weird, mesmerizing force.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like only a mustache. I don't know why.
You should start an Instagram for it. And then, write have a picture and go, my eyes are up here, like
I should.
As if your mustache is talking.
That's a good idea. If I had any sense of self-promotion, I'm going to write that down because
I mean, I just say you should because I could shit all over you,
Which is fine. Please. Shitting all over me is how the algorithm works.
I hope this isn't a Flavor Saver joke. Jesus. So here's another one you can have because it's from your album. My wife likes the mustache because other chicks don't.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, it is. That's. I mean, it's. I try to cage that joke as if I'm trying to say, ooh, women like the mustache because of this. She likes the mustache, and I go, do the little cat noise, and people are like, ooh, this is gonna get dirty, and I'm like, no, it's gonna get sad.
You make a good point about being a New Yorker and realizing, I think you're a New Yorker when things upset us.
Yeah,
that shouldn't. Like things make us smile. Well,
things that make other people smile are the things that make me angry now. Which is, that's when you're like, all right, I have been in an aggressive city for a while where every overture, any action directed toward me is assumed to be a threat first.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And he says things that should make other people smile, like people smiling.
Like smiling.
I hate smiling.
Yeah. If somebody smiles at you on the subway, that is not necessarily, that's not a comforting thing necessarily. There's a whole other level of processing that has to happen before you can go, oh, this is generous. That was sweet.
And then there's a process until you could say it out loud. Like, I'm not going to say it's sweet. I'm going to ruin it.
Yeah, I went to I remember going back home after being up here for a while. I'd been here for probably 5-6 years and went back home and was traveling, went into a Starbucks and somebody like stepped in front of me in line. And I was just getting ready to go, what are you doing? You need to get behind me. And the person turns around and goes, oh, were you in line? Oh my God, I'm sorry. And and I go, oh yeah, that's right. Because we're here. Right. You assume everybody's nice. And I don't. I assume everybody's trying to one up me.
Oh, I'm
City,
sorry.
that's the thing. This city is a tough city. I mean, this is a city where people come to be alpha versions of whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
guess so, right?
so it's aggressive. It is.
Do you like it, or
I do. I love it.
Yeah?
I love it because it's beautifully aggressive. It's sweet aggressive. That's what's weird. Like I was
We're real as fuck.
there are people who will yell at you for not calling 911 quick enough because they're helping a stranger who fell on the ground.
Right.
And I did that like a couple months ago. I'm walking down 57th Street, and somebody like flips on their bike and they're not wearing a helmet, and they're like, there's like a problem. And all of these New Yorkers, like literally 10 people, crowded around her, divvied up responsibilities. One dude took off his shirt, put it on the back of her head. Another person was like waving traffic around and yelling at traffic, like angrily, like, no, get over it. You know, just, it was beautifully violent. It's why I love this city. I love this city. It is so much like Texas, except that they just process things the opposite way.
Chris Ellis saying, "I'm walking here, darling."
Could the Red Dead Redemption guy say we're going to need a bigger boat?
Oh, you know what's funny is I actually played Chief Brody in Jaws the musical at one point.
Really?
I did. A guy, my buddy who wrote that. It was originally a sketch in a sketch group I was, but it became this musical, hour-long musical thing that we did for a while.
That's the idiot asshole that won't close the beach, right?
Yes. Okay. And so I played him very cowboy, and that inspired my cowboy character that I did with Comedy Central, which is just a cowboy who,
Ask a Cowboy.
Yeah. Cowboy Explains.
Okay.
Yes.
What's a good one that you can explain?
I explain holidays. So I talk about, I guess in honor of the coronation, I'll say that, in America, one day a bunch of men in culottes and wigs got together and drank a lot of beer and wrote a lot of laws that we came to know as the Declaration of Independence. And that declaration said that we will have no kings unless they are burger, and we will have no queens unless they are dairy. And we will not serve them. They will serve us at convenient locations throughout the Metroplex. That was a fun time.
Between the two albums,
yes.
I love how the story continues almost. And when I do my albums, I deliberately try to do the same thing. So that's why I like it. There is a story on my life if you go through my albums. I like hearing about the girlfriend in 2018. Then the new album comes out, and I like trying to guess too. I'm like, is he talking about her? And then he's clear. He goes, "Yeah, we've been together for over a decade now." And I'm like, I was invested. I was fucking invested.
I actually dissected a joke from my first album on my new special.
Yeah, he goes, we're in a 4-year relationship. We're at year 3 right now.
We're only 3 years into it. Yeah.
So any of these jokes, like you saying, I talk for a living, but when she tells a story, holy shit, it's an existential crisis. And then I go, all right, let's get to the beginning, close out a thread. Who's Jason? Let's make up a different name. Who's Sean? Like, Sean, did I even bring up a Sean? It's like, we're at hour 2. I guess it's not your fault. But does she ever go, hey, dude, you're making me look like an asshole?
No, it's the closing joke that I told on my special is basically me explaining her realizing that I am going to tell that joke about her as she makes the mistake. She makes the mistake, and I just, instead of laughing, I just look at her and I go, and she goes, "Oh no." She is my biggest fan.
Can I say it?
Huh?
Can I say the joke?
Say the joke. Yeah, it's fine.
So she forgets how long TV shows are. It's like, how long is Law and Order? An hour. How long is Friends? Half an hour, honey. Okay. How long is 60 Minutes? then he's like, and then she goes, oh, don't tell anybody that. Does that happen often in the relationship? Like, don't look at me. Don't grab your pad and paper.
We are so completely opposite. And I talk about this a little bit. She's very like reasonable and sound and like solid, just a reliable, good human being. I don't, but she fascinates me because she thinks so vastly differently than me. And she's like, oh, I'm boring. And I'm like, yeah, you are boring, but I don't need to be excited by you. I need to be fascinated by you. And that's like, to me, is much better. Like we'll go, sometimes we'll walk to brunch.
Are you ever sarcastic about it? Like she breaks something for the third time in 5 minutes. And
okay, like, first of all, that's my character in the script, breaking something for the third time in 5 minutes. She is the character who has decorative trash cans. That's honestly, your place, it looks like a Zoom background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that is fake brick, by the way. But is
still, it looks, everything's just like everything is clean and square and just so like it's a hotel from what I see.
Yes, I have. This is everything you can see on camera is stuff she has control over. Everything that I have control over, the desk in front of me, it is the opposite of what you see on camera. It is.
Do you guys get pissed at each other for one of you? I mean, I guess why
we do. We
does
argue.
Fascination lead to
we argue, but what we do is we're very good at communication. The best thing we do is communicate, because neither one of us has a fear that the other one is. Both of us are like, if the other one wants to leave me for this, then they should leave me, because this is true to who I am. Right. We're unfortunately for ourselves in other situations honest to a fault. But
like I saw somebody that's hot.
No, more like I think you need to work on this. Like
I'd sooner say I saw somebody who's hot.
Yeah, she'll tell me that. And sometimes she'll complain about somebody. I'm going, you may be part of this problem.
What allows you to be comfortable with that?
We do that.
She's been here 10 years. So
yeah.
No, did you come into the relationship like that, or
we were best friends before we were in the relationship? So I was already talking to her in that way, and she was talking to me in that way. The hardest part about the transition there was that we both knew each other's love lives pretty thoroughly going into the relationship. So when I would go out and do comedy, she's like, this is very difficult for me. And I'm like, I get it.
Because you're sharing stories about other women on stage? Is that what you mean?
Well, no. When I would go out and do comedy, I would just be gone at night.
Oh, I see.
She had known me through all of the dating I had done prior to us getting together. So,
because you dated comedians?
No, I didn't. No, I wasn't.
Just that you were out late.
Just that I would. Yeah, it was her processing the fact that me being out late meant that I was at a comedy club getting my jokes not laughed at.
Right.
At that point in time, it got better. But for her, she was still processing it in the vein of, oh, if you aren't around at night, then that means you're out with some woman somewhere. So
she was married before?
Yes.
How did that end? And is that related to paranoia?
That was just, she was sort of in a psychologically abusive situation, and she had gotten to the point where she had grown. She had done a lot of therapy at that point, and so she was very aware that it was happening. But it, when you're inside the relationship, it takes you longer to pick up on things that other people. And a big part of the reason we ended up becoming good friends is because her friends had all told her to leave this guy. And I just
said stay with them and play the cool.
I didn't know anything about it until way later. We became friends because all her friends that told her to leave this guy, when she did leave the guy, they disappeared. They were like, "Oh, we just wanted the drama." It was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh wow.
I was there and going, "Okay, look, they're not really as much friends as they are viewers of Real Housewives." Right. So maybe that's what they were looking at. They wanted to see the chaos.
Did you learn anything, or even if it's just how to talk to her specifically, did you learn anything about what not to do based on the old boyfriend? Or do you go, well, I'm not even fucking close to that. I'm
not close to that. I am very fortunate that I've been able to learn from every relationship, good or bad, that I've had. So I've been real fortunate. I never moved in with anybody before her. So it was one of those things where I had always sort of.
What'd you learn in past relationships?
I learned that football is just reality show. Basically, it's reality TV for people who like men who hit other men. It's basically. I had a girlfriend in college who was like, we were going to go do something. She's like, well, we need to go, and I'm like, but the game's still on. She's like, well, if the game is more important, then maybe you should spend more time with the game and less time with me. And I'm like,
that's a trick?
My problem is I'm reasonable. And right. I was like, she's right. That's a good point. And
did you choose the game though? Because you're like,
we broke up.
So. Yeah, I mean, look, that was the beginning of the end. I grew up with a mom and a dad who were both teachers, so they constantly were challenging things I was doing, and they weren't telling me I was wrong, and they were actually pretty good about, giving me confidence and stuff, but they had no problems when I would complain about something going, maybe it's your fault a little. Maybe when I would come home from school with gossip, I'm like, guess what so-and-so did at school? And they're like, did you talk to them? How do you know they did that? Who told you that? And
are they adopting?
They were great. But the great thing about having teachers as parents is.
Wait. Anybody who's a parent, do you hear what we just all had a sigh of relief from? Like this, that's so crazy. As parents, do you hear the things that we go like, oh, somebody asked you about your day. Oh God. Oh, is that how you managed to be okay?
Now listen, parents, when your 6-year-old comes home, he's like, Johnny's an asshole. I need you to go, sit down, son. Now it's called the vicious circle. Okay. So you have you and you have them, and you misunderstood them. So now it's feeding into itself. Where are you going? Hello? All right. We got to work.
Yeah. It was real annoying, my parents. But having teachers who basically practice on other people's kids for 8 hours a day and then come home with you and go, this is what I've learned. I mean, practice.
There's nothing can beat that. That's true.
There's no perfect parents, but practice gets you a lot closer. I'll tell you that.
Well, I loved your point about participation trophies. And it's like, you got a generation, they're born into knowing there was 9/11. Then you have the housing crash of '08. The whole world's shutting down. Every fucking week's a fire, recession, or a shooting. Participation trophy. Give them a trophy because they still participate.
Right. Yeah.
Why would you want to be part of this bullshit?
If you're still a millennial and you're participating, you deserve a trophy. You deserve a trophy.
I think the trophy is the anxiety meds that they're popping in order to participate.
Right. Trophies come in bottles.
Oof, everything is so big. Ho, ho, ho.
That's the tough thing about millennials. They grew up with all this information handy. Yeah. Generation X, I spent my entire childhood.
How old are you? I'm confused by generations. How old are you?
You never ask an actor or a woman right. how old they are.
How old are you playing today?
But what if they have multiple albums that says what generation?
What's the youngest you can be and be Generation X? 1980 is the so that's Okay. So then that makes me 42. All right.
Okay.
But
well, we know you're 41 then, right?
I mean, I got to take on a character.
Sure.
Yeah. I grew up in Connecticut, guys. This whole thing is a farce.
Is there the bottom? It's hard to tell because it's YouTube, so I forget like how many tracks or how long, but it feels like almost the last quarter of it is thoughts on marriage and going to weddings and
yes,
how funny and ridiculous that is. Does your girlfriend say, yeah, but it isn't just funny. It's been 10 years now. And yes, your joke is funny that it's like an iPhone upgrade. I just feel it might break my phone. Can't we just enjoy the phone as it is right now? But does she say, but seriously though, are we getting married or not, Jason?
No, she legitimately doesn't feel like marriage is anything different, really. So
you're both in good health?
Full disclosure, I did propose to her.
Okay.
During the special.
Okay.
And I knew I was so technically sound that I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it in the special, and I didn't. But because of that, see if you can find the point. Rewatch the special. See if you can find the point.
I can find any cuts.
The proposal came.
Okay.
Because there's a whole thing that happened, and I was like, nah. Because I didn't know. I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I knew she wanted to spend the rest of her life with me.
So when you proposed, did she go, sure, because it makes no difference?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, that's sort of what it was. At some point, I might release it, but
she goes, "Oh my God, yay!" And you're like, "Shut up!" All right, I love you.
Well, the whole thing is that she doesn't like it. It goes. I actually wrote that string of jokes about getting married specifically for the proposal.
Okay.
And not the wedding jokes. That was a joke that just about going to weddings, right. Period. But the proposal stuff was all about the proposal that was going to happen. So, yeah, it was an interesting experiment.
She didn't mind it being in public
she hated it being in public.
That's why it's interesting. And by the way, it's not in the special.
It's not in the special. It's not. But if you can spot the place where it was.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, but only because I know how to ask questions. We've been doing this 18 years. Are you engaged?
We are, I guess, technically. I mean,
she's not sure if it's a joke, so I just keep going.
No,
about my day.
But no, we did have a long discussion about. She's like, I did not like it being that public, and I was like, okay, well, I misread that.
Is that scary?
That? I knew she wouldn't like it.
Is that scary that you don't know her? That you don't know if she'd like a public engagement?
Well, the thing that
she said, I love surprises because you bought her something once.
Well, she is great to surprise because she gets so focused on things that she doesn't remember hints that she laid down. And so,
right.
And I mean, I'm not bad at surprises, so it helps that I know how to take notes, Right. I mean, I think that might come from being a stand-up comic. I take notes when she mentions something, when she likes something, when something happens.
I tried to do that more, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been on vacation with her. We go into a store. She likes something. I purchase it while she's also in the store. She doesn't know I purchased it, and I somehow have to get it back to wherever we are. Yeah. And I've done that a ton. To the point where sometimes she'll like something in a store on vacation. She's like, but don't buy it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. All right. But she's one of those people who just is so in the moment that she just is excited. And she did at some point, I may post the video of the proposal, but it would definitely only be with her wanting me to, because she did a better job than I did. I was just like, oh.
What are your thoughts on proposing a second time in private so that she can have her version of a special?
Her version of a special.
By the way, she's not even in the fucking credits.
She is in the credits.
Is she? Because I looked at special thanks and it didn't seem like it was her.
Nikki Diatelis.
All right.
She's in the credits.
Okay.
She hates being on. She's like not on social media. She's like, no, she doesn't have any
propose
profile.
in public.
Mine was more about how would I propose. This was the perfect encapsulation of a man proposing. It's like processing how the woman would want a proposal in the way that I would want a proposal. Was it wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely.
You have
but it's the only way. It's the only way I know how to do it.
Well, how would you do it if you can do it again? And I think it'll count. And I think it'll count twice as much.
Well, here's the thing. She doesn't care about a proposal. And I will tell you how I did
Swear
it.
to God,
here's the thing. I don't know why I keep saying here's the thing. I'm trying to get you to change your podcast name to here's the thing. Can we do
that? I think it's like when you're like grabbing for like, it's going to come anything.
It is.
Now here's the thing, folks. What else? It's
a tick of my brain understanding its capacity, and we're reaching the end. It's overheating.
There's no thing. Shit, there's no thing. And here's the thing. Is the thing over here?
No, but what we did was the next day we're talking about it, and she's telling me, she's like, that was way more than I wanted. And I'm like, all right. I said, and she's like, I have to process this. I don't know if I want to get married. And I knew that if she didn't want to get married, that just meant she didn't want to do paperwork. That didn't mean that she didn't want to spend the rest of her life with me. We're pretty much in that world already. There was never any doubt with that. But
she already put your album frame on the wall. Okay,
she did. She framed this thing in this like opera glass where there's no glare. She's great. She's the best.
The list goes on.
Yeah, look, I don't deserve her. If you haven't picked that up from this podcast.
What was the thing?
Over the next days, we had these conversations, and I told her, I said, look, you don't have to answer it. You don't have to answer the proposal. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to.
Just needed a punchline.
You don't have to commit.
Please.
Like
I didn't even commit to putting it in.
I wanted to express to her that, like, I want you to know that this means a lot to me. And whenever I have to express something that's difficult to express, I get stupid. So I'm like, we videoed it. And so we both will know forever how stupid I am. Not just forever how stupid on video, but five camera video with professional audio.
You have the receipts. Did you bring a ring, and is she wearing it?
Here's the thing.
Oh, more things. Let me write it down. Mm-hmm.
The day was actually 17 hours, and there's a 1 hour ring explanation.
Actually, she does not like rings. She likes her own rings. She likes certain styles. She doesn't want a ring at all.
Did you bring a ring anyway?
So the proposal was essentially talking about, I think I made the joke, that she would be irritated if I got her an expensive ring. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, there's like 5 Broadway shows we want to see.
Right.
And so what I did was I had a ring box, and I popped a Broadway ticket out of it.
Oh,
there you go. That easy.
Yes. Okay.
I mean well.
Now, if she goes to that show,
despite my execution,
propose during the Lion King.
Oh my God, have a ring box during that Broadway show, but it's the next Broadway show until the 5th Broadway show. And then what?
Then you have to have a baby during Miss Saigon. Then during Cats, you have to have grandkids.
Yeah. Well, that's happening.
Well, what's the show? What was the first show? What was the show in the ring box?
Leopoldstadt.
I don't think that's not a show.
That's it is.
It's really
not. Is that a comedy show?
That is not a comedy. That is a Tom Stoppard show about his Jewish heritage.
Did you decide that show, or did she mention it and said, don't buy it?
She wanted to see that show.
She said that as she passed?
She definitely wanted to see that. This is
a great show. We have no idea.
It is a great show. It is a great show.
We're just being ignorant.
It got a lot of, it was nominated for a Tony. So
wow, there you
Listen,
go.
Keith just mentioned like 30-year-old Broadway shows. That's how in the know.
Right.
Okay,
All my shows are closed.
You guys
Like our
did
most
go right
recent
down
is
the list of
Hamilton.
we are
Yeah.
coming to Broadway from Indiana.
Exactly.
But you say how she's better than you. You bring up the point. You know what? The other day, I saw on the floor was probably a potato chip, so I ate it. You know, you're not wrong. I can relate. I see some on the floor. It's not even like that's probably a potato chip. I need to figure out what it is. I put it in my mouth like I'm a robot analyzer. And I'm like, oh, a ball bearing. Okay.
Yeah.
The way cops put Coke on their tongue, I check it. Well, okay, that's food. It is a potato chip.
I like how you compare it to a robot analytics system.
Thank you. It's ones and zeros.
I like how you go, we're going to raise the bar from humanity. I approach it like a 3-year-old who doesn't know how the world works yet. Just shove it into my face where I'm like, see what happens.
Oh my God.
Neither here nor there. Jason has a funny joke about being on the airplane and being in airplane mode. You know, the stewardess comes over and it's like, are you on airplane mode? Yeah, we both know we're lying. We continue. How you stop that is you fucking gas up the plane and then quickly screech it. And then the pilot goes, who the fuck isn't on airplane mode?
Yeah, right.
These albums are good. You got to check them out. I'll give you the names one more time. Don't you worry. But it's your new friend and mine, Jason Salmon. And the albums are called Force of Nurture and Biscuits and Gravity. And Biscuits and Gravity is on YouTube.
Yes.
Force of Nature was, I assume, put on iTunes, that kind of thing first. Nurture. I knew if I kept saying it. It's like when I keep trying to push, I'm like, I recognize you're a him. Shit, I pushed it. What made you? I just did an album. Normally, it's fun to see it go number one on iTunes. It's fun to see all this different. It's fun to see Billboard. Now we're thinking, do we go YouTube route? What made you switch? And how do you feel? Did you make the right switch?
I did. I mean, I'm still putting out the album. That's gonna release in a couple of weeks on Sirius and then other platforms. But
Okay.
But yeah, the special is one of those things that I can draw from. I can make clips from. You know, I mean, social media is such a big portion of that. Right. So, you know, it's something that I was proud of. I felt like I had a good venue.
Does one take away the other? Does one seem to have more views? Does one seem to have more money?
I will tell you that you make more money from albums unless you're getting millions and millions of hits on your YouTube. You know, okay. I mean. I think you can make more money from specials, but and I might the distribution company 4x3 that I work with. They're trying to sell this to platforms. So you know, maybe it ends
up. Jason, I'm trying to put Keith's album out for free, and you are fucking it up.
I'm sorry.
Just say it's fun, clips and shit.
It's fun. It's fun.
I know how much our cameras cost. You know, you bring up a 5-camera shoot. I know how much those cost.
Yeah, it is. No, but yeah, it's all good. The album sales are great, so that helps.
All right. Let me see if that's everything I want to talk about. Robert De Niro. He's 79 years old. His girlfriend is 45. She's having his 7th baby.
Wow.
He'll be 80 in August. He has 7 children from 4 different women. Robert De Niro, I'm talking about 2 with his first wife, 2 more with a girlfriend, and 2 more with his former wife, Grace Hightower, as well as the newborn. So it's a former wife. Looks like that's having a baby, and feels a little rude. I don't know, but I guess it's easy for housekeeping, right? Change the dad's diapers, change the kids' diapers. You know.
Yeah, I mean he's playing a dad to Sebastian Maniscalco in a new movie, cool. So I mean he's getting his practice too.
Is it rude? Like, yeah, the kid will be a millionaire. You have to assume and have an easy life, but I don't know. Heaven seemed easier.
Yeah,
like I'm not getting your attention, so what's the fucking point?
Well, I don't know how many parents you really need. I do think one is plenty and a lot, especially with money, because then you have all the help. I think it's interesting to know that you, the parent, will not see your kids grow up. Like you won't. The kid will be fine. The kid.
Yeah, but that's heavy too. When did your parent pass away? Natural causes, but I was 10.
Right.
Of course. I'm not trying to belittle it. I'm just saying in the reverse, it's you're the one who's doing it, and you will not see this child grow up. Are you just leaving a seed? behind?
Yeah.
I don't think they're looking at it that much. When you're that old, you're probably just
There's that.
Yes.
You're young, and apparently my sperm can still take. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know he doesn't hold back.
They're probably thinking of it like, look, I could buy him a dog to teach him about the finality of life, but what if I just taught him with me?
Right.
You know?
First of all, I have so many movies of life lessons. He can watch those.
Yes. I basically got an instruction manual about how to survive being in the mob.
Like, there's some of these people that are so good or in so many mob movies where like, I think they're really in it. This kid's gonna think his dad's really in the mob. You don't want to fuck with my dad. But yeah, I don't think he knows how to pull out. He's like, oh my God, it's coming. Like, no, don't come in me. Like, this hardly ever happens. Oh, too late.
How old's his new wife? 49?
45.
45? Oh, he probably thinks she's too old to have children. There's no way he knows about the female reproductive system.
No, I agree. I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking this might not be planned. This might be one or both of them going like, there's no way this bitch is getting pregnant. You know, like just going like, yeah. I finally like am dating someone age appropriate. LOL.
But after 6, you assume you have superpowers. After you have 6 babies, you have superpowers now.
It's not her that had all the 6 babies. Oh, him. Okay, him.
Yeah.
Well,
the source.
In 80 years, you jizzed enough to have 6 babies. Okay, congrats. You
must
really
be done now. And baby number 5. Okay, you must be done now. Shit, baby number 6. Now you're done for sure. Fuck, a 7th baby. God damn.
You're done when you clip it.
Is in there.
It's not like he can't afford to clip things or, you know.
Yeah, no, he loves it. It's toys. It's fun to him. Seems rude. It feels rude. That's all. All right, good for him. Here's what you want to do. You want to go to this website, Jason-Salmon. I did it right there. And you know what? Because in my fucking head, I'm like, you watch, I mispronounced something right at the mother. Why would I even have to say it? It's a lot of pressure. It's his website. You go there. Why would I have to fucking push it?
I'll tell you why, because I thought you were doing it on purpose so people can spell it right. So you were saying it as
I was. That's the joke that I was. And then the joke that I was like, God damn me. I fucked up because I didn't. So that was all of this was the whole. Can we start over? Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to the show. Here's what you do. You go to Jason-Salmon, SALMON.com. You'll see what's going on there. It's your fault
for having a dash. Can I just say?
It was the dash that threw me. I didn't know how to pronounce that.
The dash that's a tough sell.
It's rude.
But there's a Jason Salmon who's a good artist.
Then you had to be something else.
Yeah. I had to be mediocre.
I see on your website, May 12th, there's a Firehouse fundraiser. Am I allowed to go?
I don't know.
Okay, well, all right.
I don't
May 26th, there's a corporate private show. Can I go?
That one, no.
No, okay. No. Well, this is some fucking calendar you got.
I know it.
So if you get a chance to see Jason, he's having a private dinner tonight. You can't go. It's just him and his wife. Calm the fuck down.
Yes, yeah.
If on Thursday he's going to be at the dentist, no, you may not go.
Actually, I encourage people to see me at the dentist.
For his full Gmail calendar, check out his website.
I would.
Congrats again. Very nice meeting you. This was a pleasure, Jason.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hemda brought up /book, KeithAndTheGirl.com/book. Here are all those episodes that we're talking about. My perverted dad. What's that? /dad? Okay. /dad. Something else is at /book. By the way, get that too. And also with your VIP program, you can hear, let's see, that episode we talked about, 2955, Billy Bush Returns, I think is very interesting. Yesterday we recorded Newsy. That was what, 4 hours?
Yes.
All that's in your amazing VIP show. Oh, there's so much stuff going on with that guy's asshole. We revisit old episodes over the 18 years that we've been recording. Okay. And apparently sometimes we find out people are dead. True story. We also talked to the Moros, Rod and Karen from The Black Guy Who Tips. I think that VIP episode was only about 3 hours. So if you have kids and you're busy, don't worry. It's only 3 hours. Get all these bonus hours and literally thousands more. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. You should be a Keith and the Girl VIP member. We're proud of it. Try it for free. KeithAndTheGirl.com/VIP. Use code free trial. That's it. /VIP free trial. Come on. I can't got to live a life over here. Jason Salmon, so good seeing you. I hope you have a great life. Say hi to your girlfriend. or whatever you call each other. You brought up like she hates the term girlfriend,
She
and
does.
you go, okay, lover, and she goes, all right, girlfriend's fine. I like lover too. I like lover too. That's fun.
I hate lover, and this is a chance to say fiance. Boom.
Oh no.
Okay.
It didn't sound like I
so French.
When I said, are you engaged? And he said, I guess so, technically. I couldn't even tell if he'd be in more trouble for cheating. So I didn't think he'd use the word fiance.
I'm just going to say wife. It's one syllable. I'm just going to say it.
Maybe she's not paying attention. She'll assume she already got married.
Yeah. She may call me her wife. I don't know how anything works right now.
When you're at a store together, and you buy something that she was just looking at and she's not paying attention, is it ever offensive?
No.
Okay. It's a blessing.
Yeah. She always, she wishes I wouldn't spend money on her.
Right.
But I think that's just being frugal.
Sure.
But that's it. Yeah.
Nice.
She always enjoys it. She's always surprised to get it.
Well, I'm rooting for you too. What was your last fight? Just so I don't sound like an idiot to people and I'm wrong.
Last fight is she had to clean up after me. Probably the last fight is she was vacuuming up a chip right before we started this podcast. I said, I need quiet during the podcast. She goes, it was your chip. And I'm like,
right. Can you leave the room? Are you done cleaning up after me? I need the room.
Yeah. Do you mind?
Well, very nice seeing you. Thanks again, Jason. Take care.
Thanks so much for having me.